PESH Entertainment, and we back again for
a movie review.
I was about to say trailer reaction,
but it's a movie review this time after a long time. So we're doing Puli movie review, guys.
Yeah, we said we were gonna do the Puli movie review,
and we do it.
We're gonna talk about,
let's talk about the cast, guys.
The only guy I know there will be Vijay and probably the girl's names. Is her name Sudeep or?
That's the guy's name, Sudeep, the villain.
The villain Sudeep.
Sudeep,
so
and
what's
then
her name?
the main actress. I mean, there's two main actresses. So there's Shruti and Ansika, and also the diva Sridevi.
Sridevi, yeah, okay. That's the one. The evil queen, basically.
That's it.
So first of all, we're going to talk about the cast, which is Vijay. Okay, from what I see, Vijay, in the movie, in the first half of the movie, Vijay's part was slightly, what they were trying to do with his acting was, his acting was good at a level, because we could say he did it for the Vijay fans. His attitude, his hero-like status that he did it in this movie. But on the same point, this is a fantasy movie, so he's stepping into new shoes to feel for this movie. So for this movie, Vijay is stepping into a new area, genre that he's trying to do.
Yeah.
He's done action movies, he's done, comedy movies, I'm guessing. But a fantasy movie now, that's a different thing. That's a totally different line of, fans that will probably want to see the movie. So there's mixed reviews about what he's done. Some fans might say, oh, he did all right. Some fans say, oh, he didn't do that good. Some fans say he did well.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
From my point of view, I think, he didn't do that bad for the movie, because he's stepping into a fantasy movie, and it's his first one.
That's true.
So you're not expecting him to just step into it and bang, he's picked it up, and wow, he's already that good. It's
That's
something
true.
He's never tried before. Do you understand? So to him, kudos to him, he played a part. But at the same time, the beginning part, the performance, there were some emotional parts in the movie where they made it slightly comical, and then he was slightly stiff. Do you understand? The
understand, yeah.
emotional expression we're not showing in his face. I didn't see that. I didn't get that.
One thing, his performance on the first half, you couldn't distinguish it, because the first part was very slow, and then after the interval, the story started picking up. Then you could see more of his performance and more of the character development. So you could see, oh wow, okay, now we know who he is and what's his mission.
Yeah.
The first half, he did well in the fighting sequence in the first half. His comical sense, his humors.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of opportunities there, and then
to boost himself.
To boost himself, but then it couldn't be better. Is it probably because of the director Chimbu Deven? We don't know.
It could be because you could say it's the director's fault. Maybe he didn't
emphasize
on his character, or because most movies, sometimes we feel like it's the director's fault, or it's the director that has to push the character development. Not necessarily. The actor as well has a say in the character. If the actor feels like, the way this character development is going, I think if you do this, it might make it better, because you're not just acting to the script, you're also improvising. So it could be that maybe the movie was not even the way Chimbu Deven wanted to go. And
that's true.
Vijay might have improvised to make it much
more.
Or
put his own input into it.
Yeah, put his own acting skills into it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, some people are saying, oh, it wasn't that good or whatnot. So really, we can't base it on that.
So Vijay was the prominent actor in the movie, of course. So the next character we need to mention is Sridevi. She played the Queen Diva, so the evil queen. So she was in the Vedalam. She's a Vedalam, basically.
Yeah.
And what I will say is that her entrance was a good one.
Like she even had a better entrance than
Vijay himself. Yeah.
Vijay himself, like her entrance, the makeup, the costumes,
the music that was going with
it. I thought like, who's this person? Like, how come she's got a better entrance than the main actor himself?
Performance-wise, she did her job.
Yeah.
I won't say she put people down and stuff. She did her job.
She did what she was supposed to.
She justified her character as a villain, so a witch using all this magic and sorcery
Yeah.
To save people and to kill the poor people.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I mean, Sridevi, she's a great actor, but back then, so in this movie she proved herself.
Yeah, and also it's the first time. I think apparently someone was telling us that it's the first time they've managed to use her voice in this movie.
Dubbing, yeah.
Yeah, because they used to dub it. They dubbed it before. It was the first time she's actually used her voice for the movie.
One more thing we could go about the director is that he could also, I mean, he didn't probably use a full potential that she could be used. That's what we say about Vijay.
Yeah.
So we could say the same thing about Sridevi and also other actors. And then the next one could be Sudeep. Sudeep, nothing much to say about him.
Yeah,
he was a great villain.
He was a great villain.
His mannerism, I mean, his eyes, he's a villain.
The emotions he showed within the emotions he showed within the parts that he was supposed to show, you know, the anger emotions, the jealousy emotions. He showed that he was emotional about certain things that Vijay was doing. But that's the thing I didn't catch with Vijay. The part where, you know, your lady love is locked in a tower and you seem, your emotions slightly don't seem to change.
That's true.
Like all of a sudden he's getting, Vijay character is getting distracted all the time by maybe his sidekicks or maybe another
we
thing.
don't know. Yeah.
His character was just getting distracted.
But
all the time.
when it comes to Sudeep, he's an unlikable person.
Yeah.
So like from the beginning to end, it was here killing people.
Yeah.
It was here, okay, I wanna rule the kingdom. I'm
the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy. That's it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
After that, there is Shruti Hassan, which she comes in the first half. Of course, she looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But there's nothing much in terms of performance.
So-
And then in the second half, it's Ansika, the daughter of Sridevi in the movie.
Yeah.
She also done a job. She came in the music, she did roles
the
and
music,
stuff,
yeah.
and that's about it. So it's mostly about Sridevi and Vijay, I would say. Then Sudeep came afterwards.
So we're gonna jump into the story. So the story, basically, from what I got, is Vijay's character is a guy who's found by a river, is adopted by a village, someone raised him up as his own son. He falls in love with the daughter of the chief.
That's it.
When
Of the
they were
village.
young, of the village when they were very
When
young.
they were young, yeah.
And she becomes his lady love when they become older. You know, he wants to prove his worth to her. He gets his foster father to hire some fake demon people,
Vedalam people, yeah.
Bedlam people to show
that
he's such a heroic guy,
that's it.
and he beats them senseless, or maybe he basically fights them like, oh yeah, I'm fighting them, I'm doing this for my lady, I'm protecting her. And then once that was done, before he got into the story, it took
a while, so it was very slow. Like it took a long while to develop the story itself. There was no story at the beginning.
And the first half, and then the second, then while that was happening, some people came to their village. The real
Vedalam
demons came to their village and took away his lady love. And why they did that, he now has to go to this other kingdom and rescue his lady love. But in that process, there's this twists of you have to. Then there's that random guy that just comes out and say, take this
medicine,
and
there's no story about it, like where the medicine coming from.
Yeah, it's just a slight random input, like
they didn't talk about a lot about this medicine, where it's coming from, and then that's it. And then he goes to that kingdom, and there's those adventurous things that you see in any fantasy movie.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of puzzle stuff.
So they meet some little people, they meet some animals,
they meet some turtle. So there's a lot of puzzle stuff that they have to go to reach that place.
Yeah, it felt almost like a kiddies game, to be honest. It felt almost very childlike. I would say children will enjoy the story because it's a natural fantasy adventure story.
True.
But us being adults, we can't take that away from it. We can't say, oh, let's criticize it because it didn't appeal to us as it will appeal to someone else.
That's true.
Because we're watching the movie for the sake of watching the movie. It was a good story. It was a film that narrates good versus evil. That's it, really.
That's it.
But the director took his time into developing the plot, into getting to the plot.
As you said, he could have done a lot better job in terms of story and especially the screenplay.
Yeah.
He made it more simple.
Yeah.
As a fantasy simple story. He could have made it a bit different for us because, as we know, everyone watches Hollywood movies and stuff, and this is a new movie for Vijay, the fantasy movie.
Yeah, fantasy is probably Vijay's first fantasy movie. So now he's gonna look back on it because this can be a platform for
other directors and
to
actors
say,
as well.
look, this movie, actually, the story needs to be strong enough to carry the movie. Let's talk about the director.
Let's talk about the director. So directed by Chimbu Deven.
Yeah.
That's about, I think, his 4th or 5th movie. So this is his first movie with Vijay. So the first movie with the big actor and also this big cast of Sridevi and Sudeep.
Yeah, quite a lot of big people.
I mean, we could talk about the screenplay. What I was thinking of the screenplay is that there are a lot of holes in there.
Yeah.
Lot of stuff that wasn't untold.
That wasn't necessary.
That was unnecessary, and it basically failed to impress. There was no how do you say? It was not engaging.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't engaging. I mean, it wasn't that boring, but it was not engaging enough.
It's like you couldn't. There was nothing there to captivate you.
Yeah.
Like in the screenplay.
You could predict the story even before it was here.
Before it happened. Yeah, that's the thing. There was no allowance for basically the first half was overshadowed by comedy mainly.
That's true.
And there was no commitment to
the storytelling.
Yeah.
There's no commitment as Prosperity said.
There was no commitment to it.
There was too much comedy that overshadowed the actual movie.
Yeah.
And then Vijay was here. Of course, he's good at giving comical dialogues and stuff. And then afterwards, you'll think is that about the story? So what's about the kingdom? What's
the kingdom?
And that will come, but that will come after a while. After a while.
So let's talk about the execution.
Yeah.
In terms of this set and the scale of the
movie,
movie, they had the places they did it in. I think those were amazing sets.
The sets were good.
The throne, the part where the bird was flying and they were in the village. That part looked realistic.
I mean, I could see what Chimbu Deven done for this movie. I mean, what he had in his vision, he put it into the movie. Yeah. So like the sets, as we said, the old palace, as well as the village, and the characters and all the costumes, etc. So that was a good production value, I would say.
Yeah, for the time space
they had, and also the budget, So as we said, it has some potential. The movie had some potential
to be better.
But then again, what can we do? Chimbu Deven didn't justify that deep enough.
Yeah. Let's talk about the music.
Yeah. So music by Devi Sri Prasad. Well, what I would say about the music, the songs.
The songs, I think.
So the songs, one thing at the beginning, of course, there's an intro song of Vijay. Then there's a second song, which is a romance with the Shruti. Yeah. Then there's 2-3 more songs, which is I think unneeded. That's what I'm thinking. But then there's the song with Shruti is a good song, which I like. But overall, the songs also could have been better. But that depends on people's view. Yeah. And that's
because my view on the songs were me seeing that many Indian, us doing the Indian trailers and doing Indian movies. I was, I've already accepted that fact that Indian movies are going to have songs in it. Yeah. So there's no point in saying, oh, why does this have song in it? Just accept it. It's going to have songs in it. Let's see what the songs is about. In terms of dancing and the development of the cast, dancing within the movie, Vijay did a perfect job. That was his.
You mean the music? You mean?
Yeah. In terms of the music, that was his high point. He was able to dance in the music. He was able to do those.
In that department,
he excelled in that department.
Everyone knows that Vijay is a good dancer.
He's a good dancer, so he excelled. Even from my point of view, I wouldn't know who he is as a Vijay fan would. Yeah. Do you understand? I'm watching it as an outsider to say, wow, he can pull that off in a film that his acting is still not up to that level. In this film, his acting did not. His acting did not. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the story and the acting that he was doing in it, the emotions he was showing it. I didn't feel that. But when he got to the dancing part, to the singing part, I was getting impressed. I was like, maybe after this dancing, maybe his character is going to develop better. But his character still didn't develop. His character was still trembling down all the way down.
So that was our view on the music. And also one more thing we need to talk about the music is the background score. So the background music. Yeah. Well, the beginning was very loud.
Yeah. And it was loud.
It was quite the background score was quite loud. Yeah. It was good, but not great to an extent.
It was. I wouldn't say it was even good, because at one point, at one point in the cinema, it was too loud that we had to sort of like kind of kind of look at it and say, really? Does he have to be loud for this particular scene?
That's it, yeah.
It's a comical scene. Why does he have to be loud for that? Why does he have to be, why do they have to make... It was too heavy.
It was too heavy and loud, yeah.
It was too heavy. I was like, no, this
and
is...
too probably, sometimes it was too dramatic as well.
Yeah, it was too dramatic. It was like...
When there's no
need for it.
That's true. Well, David Chappelle could have done a better job, but anyway, in the movie, it's not the big minus.
It's not a big minus for the movie.
Let's talk about the technical part. We're going to talk about the visual effects.
I think the visual effects were good for this movie.
It was good. A lot of people will say, well, it looks not good, it looks mediocre. I mean, I won't say that. For the budget they have, and especially South Indian movies, they did spend well on the visual effects.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, there is...
Like, there was that little scene with the leopard, with the panther.
Yeah.
That scene with the panther, yeah. That scene didn't look as realistic as
it wanted to be. So there's some flaws.
Yeah, there's some flaws within the movie. But for that scene, yeah, they were able to restrict, even though the panther didn't look as realistic, they were able to restrict it within the actor's frame.
That's it, yeah.
They were able to, show, at least, okay, we know it's not realistic panther. They were able to restrict it within the frame and the set they were shooting to make it as, as focused on the character as it can be. So the visual effects for this movie were great.
So they were great, especially also the part where the turtle, when they go to see
when
the turtle was good, like the characterization of the turtle.
Yeah, at first it was still, and then it just started to move.
His head came out, and then his voice. I mean, they done a good job on that section.
The visual effects were on a high standard level. Like,
for that particular movie, they could have been better if they had more money. Like as you say,
for the movie. Put it this way, the story was the one that spoiled it for the movie. The visual effects were fine. The music, slightly too loud. So music was not needed. But in terms of visual effect,
it was a visual treat. It was a visual treat.
The set, the location was good. How do you say it? The kingdom parts, the towers, the palace, the cyclops, all those visual effects.
Even the Cyclops, I really like the Cyclops.
I really like the structure of
it wasn't too amateurish. It was professionally made.
It was professionally made. So if some people might say, oh, the visual effects were this, were that, or some of it was not good.
Yeah.
Like, what else could they have done to make it better? The only thing they could have done to make this movie better is focus more on the story. Because right from the beginning, we've always said story is the main important thing.
It's key. The content.
It's the content of the story. If the story is good,
then everything else will fall off.
Yes.
Fall in place.
Yeah.
And that's it.
If the story is, trust me, if someone brings up a story now that's good, that's structured, if the visual effects are not that good, the story will lift up that movie. But I think what Chimbu Deven wanted to do was rely on the big cast to reflect on the movie.
The big cast and also as you said, the sets and the visual effects. But not on the character development and the story. Yeah.
So the flaws are character development, story. The best parts for the movie was
visual
effects.
We could say also Vijay
being his first fantasy adventure movie, and the sets. Those are the main parts. So sometimes it gets to a point where we're criticizing. We're saying, "Oh, this movie is this." Who are you to criticize? You've not made your own movie. You understand to criticize. We're just saying this is our opinion of the movie. We think this could have been better. This movie right now can help directors out there. This movie, they can say, wow, Puli has mixed reviews. Now, whatever movie we're bringing out has to step up. We need to
make it better.
We need to find, different sort of ways. We've realized that, visual effects is not the only thing that makes a movie good.
It's a story.
Star character, or the stars, or the cast in the movie is not the only thing that makes a movie good. It's mainly the story. And the way you execute the story, the way you leave space for suspense in the story. If you don't have that, the story is just going to flop.
That's true.
Let's say this was just by normal actors. That story is already a flop.
It will be a flop, yeah.
It will be a flop. It's just that because there are big people in it, that gives it that sort of oomph.
It overshadowed the
negative parts of the movie.
Yeah. And also in the department, the costume was good as well. The makeup, especially the makeup of Sridevi.
Yeah.
She was terrifying, like a face.
Yeah, she was. She looked proper evil.
Yeah. And also, the budget of the movie and also the time they had, we can't ask for more. It was not like Baobali, they made it after 3 years, so we can't ask for more. But again, the movie could have been a lot better.
Could have been better.
It could be a disappointment for a lot of Vijay fan as well as non-Vijay fan.
Yeah.
and also they will start
And
comparing.
also they decided to compare the Vidalam part
Vidalam.
2 Ajit to an Ajit
Ajit
thing
movie,
because
because they're mentioning a lot of Dalam, which is Ajit upcoming movie.
yeah, Ajit's upcoming movie is called Vidalam.
Puli overall, how can I put it? How do you want to say it? Like overall, how? Would you,
Puli overall, it's a great fantasy movie.
you could watch it at least once for his production.
We can't say you can watch it. Yeah, it's one of those movies that you can watch when you have nothing to do.
That's it.
It's not.
I mean, you can watch it for Vijay's performance,
Yeah,
for the visual effects,
Yeah.
the sets, and also for a little bit for the music.
yeah. Basically, it's more of a movie. Like it's a movie for directors. Put it that way. It's a movie for new directors coming out there to say, "Wow,
Then
they spent a lot for this movie, but there's some flaws. They can. You see, the flaws in this movie now can be used to improve any upcoming. There might be upcoming movies that are coming
Fantasy,
out like there might be
up-
upcoming fantasy movies coming out like Puli, and they can use Puli as a reference to say, oh, people don't like that part, that funny part that these guys did. They don't like that long stretch that we need to bring in the plot in more quicker.
And also, it could give a boost for other directors and
All the
actors
directors and actors.
to go for a different path.
Yeah.
A different kind of concept movie and
because
genre as
this
well.
is this is Vijay's first. Like I keep on saying, this is Vijay's first
Fantasy
fantasy
movie.
movie. So we can't really push it the blame and say it's the director's fault. It's
Vijay's
fault. We can say everybody's gonna say it's the director's fault. Number one.
Yeah.
But the director he does fantasy movies. Some of them they're great. Some of them they're not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a good movie. Kids will enjoy it. It's not a adult starred movie, even though
That's right.
it was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be.
It's supposed
Especially after watching the trailer, it had a lot of, how do you say, it? A lot of potential. I mean,
The trailer, when we saw the trailer, we thought this movie is gonna be.
there was a lot of attention towards this movie, and they were even comparing to Bahubali because it was that well made, like even on a trailer.
Yeah.
And then after the reviews, mixed reviews and stuff, of course people will probably dislike it, and some people will like it.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good movie to watch, one time watchable.
Yeah.
And tell us, guys, what you think about it. Do you want to give a score for this movie out of 10?
If I was a kid watching it, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 or 7
6.
out of 10.
What
Me not being a kid watching it, I'll give it a 6.
6, same thing. 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, as we said, the movie had a lot of potential.
That's right.
It could have turned to be a big super hit movie, you know. But then it has its flaws and stuff. But we can't blame, as we said, on Vijay or the director.
That's right.
It's their first attempt, and also it will open a more
Wider range for directors
for other directors and actors to look into and then make those kind of movies.
Yeah, and make us and look at the flaws they had and try and correct that,
Correct, and make it even better.
make it even better.
So it's a good attempt. It's also a visual treat. You guys go and watch it if you wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
It's a one-time watchable movie. If you don't want to watch it, then stay away from it. And then that's it. There's nothing much to say about it.
There's really nothing much to say about the.
And that was our review of Puli,
That's right.
starring Vijay and directed by Chimbu Deven. That's
And
PESH
guys-
Entertainment.
PESH Entertainment,
PESH Entertainment.
and we out.